Special features. Special features. Special features. Coming up. Special features. Coming up. Special features. Coming up soon. Special features. Hot on the radio dial.
Welcome to Special Features. I'm Nate Fontaine.
And I'm Toe Capone. How you going?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm very, very good, man. What's been going on?
Oh, just doing interviews and producing shows and trying to work and live life and do all that kind of stuff. What about you?
Yeah, pretty much doing the same. Trying to, work, live. Obviously, we've got the long weekend coming up, which is very exciting. Have a bit of time off. But yeah, just trying to make sure, work, life, personal, and special features all kind of coincides and coexists.
Easier said than done, my friend.
Hey, easy said done, but I've got to say, man, we've, ever since we made, we've sort of re-entered, we've definitely gone from strength to strength, and I'm getting very, very excited, obviously, about all our upcoming shows, but obviously all our sort of, all our interviews, all the interviews we've done, sort of the range of the eclectic range of artists that we've already started interviewing, and that sort of brings us up to this episode, which I'm absolutely excited about, and totally out of left field. Because I'm not going to lie to you, I don't know too much about this artist.
Yep.
And that's through my own ignorance. But I think it's also the fact that this guy is so underground, and he's just been plying his trade for a long, long time. And the guy said this guy's pretty excited. This guy's Dälek.
Yes, yeah, his name is MC Dälek, or, technically speaking, you can pronounce it Dälek or Dialect, but yeah, we were pretty fortunate to kind of get an interview with this guy. It all happened really, really quickly. Like I think I asked him on a Monday, and we were talking on a Tuesday kind of thing. So it was kind of one of those interviews that we really had to kind of just get happening and whatnot. But it wasn't a problem because I've loved this artist since I first discovered him on the Ipecac label. He dropped Abandoned Language in 2007 and Gutter Tactics in 2009, and then nothing really happened from these guys for a little while, and I didn't really know what happened. This kind of fell off the radar to me, and then just recently it got announced that there was a brand new record that's going to be dropping on April 22 called Asphalt For Eden. And
I gotta say, I love Dalek's all their album titles. You got Necros, From Filthy Tongue of Gods and Griots.
Yep.
Abandoned Language. I actually love all the really awesome titles.
And it's got even better artwork as well. Like if you check out the artwork for Abandoned Language, Gutter Tactics, and Asphalt, it's done by this guy named Paul Romano, and we actually talk about him during the interview. Now, Paul Romano is responsible for doing a lot of Mastodon's album covers, really striking images. And if you Google Paul Romano, you'll find his website, and he's a fantastic artist. So it was kind of interesting talking to Dälek about the process that kind of is involved with and whatnot. But to say that I was excited about a new Dälek album in 2016 was great. And
you were really excited. It wasn't just like I was talking to the phone. You were like almost giddy with excitement. But you know what I love though? I mean, it's been such an eye opener for me. You talking to me about this artist, and I started going his back catalog. I mean, I just didn't realize the diversity of this group. I mean, they kind of just smash genres. I mean, they got everything from, hip hop, shoegaze are in there. There's
totally
experimental. There's ambient noise, all kind of thrown together. So it's basically a mixture between Public Enemy, My Bloody Valentine, and The Great and the Baton. All that kind of stuff, all thrown in, and with a real kind of dark and atmospheric.
Yeah.
It's quite, to be honest, it's quite rare to see any sort of anyone doing this, anyone, especially in the hip hop realm, doing this kind of music.
Oh, totally. And he's really socially, consciously, and politically aware within the music as well. Like the way he kind of presents his flows and the topics that he talks about. Like I really like this artist, and I hope you guys do too. We were actually fortunate enough to we're actually able to play a couple of tracks off Dalek,
Yes,
which is
very
going to,
exciting.
which is going to be the two singles that are dropped from Asphalt to Eden, which is Masked Laughter, Nothing Left, and we're also going to play the track Guaranteed Struggle. Now, before we get to the interview, I just wanted to
Yes.
point out as well, this is actually new for DJ Dalek because this is his first record without his longtime collaborator Octopus,
Well, I was going to ask. I was going to ask
Octopus, I
about it.
should
Yeah.
say.
I was
And
going to ask about that. I was going to say yes because originally they started with a couple of members, didn't they?
yes, they did. It was Dalek, it was DJ Rec, it was Octopus, and DJ Rec actually left after the first record or two. I think it was around during the absence, or even from Filthy Tongues. I'm not entirely sure when
Yep.
he
Yep.
left,
Yep.
but
Yep.
Octopus left the band in 2009 or 2010, I think it was, and then they actually got DJ Rec to rejoin for this record, but Octopus wasn't in there, so they still retained some of the dynamic from the early days, but actually kind of brought in some new voices. But within the interview itself, we talk about everything, man. We talk about the production of the records. We talk
Yep.
about
Yep.
Asphalt for Eden coming out. We talk about the back catalogue. We talk about Kanye West a little bit,
Oh,
which is kind of interesting.
I'd love to get. I'd love to get Dalek's view on Kanye West. I'm sure
Oh,
it'll be
yeah,
very interesting.
it was very interesting, and so yeah, so stay tuned, man. We hope you guys enjoy the interview. Don't forget, Asphalt for Eden comes out on April 22 on the Profound Law label, and I know that they've got a big show. I'll have a look at that. I think it's
Yep.
happening on the Bell House in Brooklyn
Oh, great.
with Dream Crusher on April 22, where they're debuting the live version of the record.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
make sure you get there.
So, one quick question: was there any talk of Australia possibly in
Oh
this
yeah,
interview?
there was. Absolutely,
Oh,
definitely. Listen out for that. So should we get to it?
let's get to it, guys. So, definitely enjoyed this interview from Special Features on Dalek, and yeah, enjoy it. Cheers.
So yeah, bye.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me.
No problem at all, brother.
Yeah, you're the first guest to go to the trouble of working out the time difference between New York and Australia. I was very impressed.
Man, you could thank Steve Jobs for that, man.
Oh, no.
That was my phone.
Nice one, man. I did appreciate it.
We got technology now, man. We can figure that out.
I know. So how's it all going over there today?
Good, man. Today was pretty exciting. Just the debut of the new video. Just kind of getting things in order and kind of ramping up with all a lot more interviews and just getting ready for the release of the record. Started rehearsals, so it's it's all kind of becoming a reality. You know what I mean?
Does it feel good to kind of get the Dalek? Or actually, I just want to clear something up really early on. Is it Dalek or Dialect?
It's both actually. It is dialect, but it's like a slang way of saying it and spelling it.
Yeah,
so dialect, if you were.
Where did the name come from?
Basically that was just my tag. Like it was dialect. That was my my tag.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to to spell it in a unique way. I had no idea about the Doctor Who Doctor Who robots. Obviously, after the first record came out and I toured England, I knew everything about Doctor Who.
Yeah, I imagined you would.
And the robots. Yeah. And hey, man, like that's a happy accident, but I'll definitely take the Doctor Who fans. I got no problem with that.
Yeah, nice, man. Going back to the single that dropped today, Guaranteed. Oh, sorry, Guaranteed Struggle, I should say, man. I watched the video this morning, man, and it looked great.
Yeah, the video is crazy, man. Like the director Chris Stone, I usually, when I work with directors, I just kind of give them free range to, we pick someone that we respect their work and we kind of just give them free range to do what they want to do with the song. I'm not a very visual person, So I'm like the worst when it comes to making videos for us, because I definitely know what I want, but I can't ever tell. I never like. It's not even I know what I want. It's I know what I don't want. Yeah. So like I can't vocalize like what I want visually. I kind of leave that in the director's hands. But then like when we see shit, it's like, yeah, that's it. And Chris definitely he knocked it out the park, man. But when he came back with that, I was like, yo, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this before. I don't even know what this is.
Yeah, but, I was pretty impressed,
crazy.
Man. It looked unique, man, and truthfully, man, it matches kind of the song as well, man. I love the track.
Right here by tactile verses, open hand slap person, full immersion, certified word searcher, same lyricist, just an updated version. Understanding skills, that's for certain. Older now, I'm nice on straight burden. Immune to fake sermons, with profit straight sermons. Dialect ain't built for worship. This amount of knowledge make me program nervous. Delete that shit on purpose. Cognitive thought, no rehearsing. They don't teach this style, call me cursive. I'm cursed with perception of our ancients in the time with little patience. Opposition's tiny-minded, brittle faces chasing. Plasticine dreams seen on walking flash rays. Slow pace won't attract the crack veins. Only built for heroin. A hero when I'm gone, while I'm here a little born in this chess match. Calm when I'm stressed, black ticket time, digest that. These lyrics guaranteed is the struggle, attempt to stay humble, attempt to stay humble. These lyrics guaranteed is the struggle, attempt to stay humble, attempt to stay humble. These lyrics guaranteed is the struggle, attempt to stay humble, attempt to stay humble. These lyrics guaranteed is the struggle.
I'm also, I'm a big fan and a big fan of not being in our own videos. I think the whole, seeing a hip hop group, rapping on stage or in a hallway or in front of a building, it's kind of done. I don't really no one needs to see my face.
It's always something that I've kind of found amusing, man, especially about like artists that kind of put themselves on the cover of their records, man. Especially like a really kind of obvious kind of close up of their face. Like I know a lot of pop stars kind of do it, man. I just think it's a trope that's been so done for like decades now.
Yeah.
And you know what, man? Enough already,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, honestly, like for the whole video thing, I mean, I take my cues from like bands like Tool, man. Like Tool's never been in their own videos. I mean, and I feel like that's a beautiful thing. It's like I feel like the video should be almost like a short movie, So I'd rather have like real actors in it, and or animation or whatever, but like have it be not just not the band. Like I feel like the band in it is kind of I don't know. It's just not my thing.
I do agree, man. I think Tool have kind of got the balance right, haven't they, man? In terms of like the way they present themselves from a media kind of perspective, but also the way they do videos, man. It's all about the enigma and kind of not releasing too much information, but kind of just releasing just enough to kind of make people salivate over like who they are and what they do,
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think the the mystery is kind of part of the fun of it. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be all about I guess like some people get into this to be famous. Some people get into this to make music. I'm definitely for the latter. I want to make music, man. Like I don't like I prefer it if no one knew. If I walk down the street and no one knows who I am. Like more the better. You know what I mean? Like, I'm good with that.
Hey, just whilst we're still talking about visuals and videos and all that kind of stuff, I kind of had a look at the history of Dälek, and you've had a long-standing relationship with Paul Romano, who did the album cover for Abandoned Language and Gutter Tactics, and now the new record, which is Asphalt for Eden, I should say. Man, I've got to say, dude, the visuals are outstanding and they stick out. Like it was kind of one of the things that kind of drew me to you guys, because my first introduction to you was Abandoned Language, and I just remember just really digging the album cover, man. Like how does that relationship work with Paul?
Yeah, Paul actually went out of his way to come to our shows and contact us, and such a humble dude, and such a nice guy, and just came out to us, was like, "Yeah, I'm a huge fan. I'd love to do artwork for you." Never mentioned the fact that he's done artwork for Mastodon, for Godflesh, for all these like amazing bands. Yep. He's just like, "Yeah, I really want to work with you guys," and we were like, "Yeah, like, email us. We'll definitely make something happen." Because again, like I said, even with the artwork, we weren't really. Now, not that we don't like the album covers for the early stuff, but we were still like kind of trying to find like what we were visually, because again, we're not like I really wanted to find someone to handle the artwork and to have that vision, because I just really care about the music. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I wanted to find someone that could handle the artwork and complement it the way that Paul does. And when we found Paul, besides the fact of who he's worked with, it's just, when he showed us his actual work, we were like, oh man, this guy's incredible.
Yeah,
this is crazy. So we gave him free range on Abandoned Language. Like I didn't see Abandoned Language until the artwork was done. Like I never saw like any, sketches or anything. I just kind of let him run with it. And that's pretty much been like the way we worked on all 3 records that he's worked on, plus the picture disc that he did for us.
Yeah.
And at this point, like he is the he's the visual component of Dälek. Like I don't see myself doing, at least not full lengths. I don't see like any full length Dälek album. I don't see doing with another artist other than Paul.
So you didn't give him like a brief or anything? Like I'm assuming you just gave him the music to listen to and kind of.
I give him I give him the music even before it's done. Like I give him like the rough idea of the album. Like I'll give him like rough mixes of the album. And I keep sending him like updated versions of, like when we add vocals, when we add, sonic layers. So he kind of gets to hear the record way before anyone else gets to hear the record. So he kind of knows like what the core of the music is and how it's built and like what it becomes. And I just kind of trust him to find, the imagery that works with the album. And I mean, he's 4 out of 4, so I can't, I can't complain. I told him after this one, when he showed me this last one, I was like, man, look, pretty much any record I do, you have to do the artwork. And, you know, the deal is that I don't, you know, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut and you just do what you do. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to get involved at all.
And you're dead right, man. It's worked. So why change a working system?
Absolutely.
Going back to the new record, man, you must be pretty excited. April 22 is when it's dropping, and I think you're doing a big live show at the Bell House in Brooklyn, to kind of debut the record, man. It's going to be a big night.
Yeah, we're like I said, you know, it's all kind of becoming real, and it's just weird, man. You know, like this originally this was going to be an EP that we were going to do with Profound Lore. So it was only going to be, I think, like maybe 3 or 4 songs in the beginning, and it just kind of expanded into a full album. And, you know, organically, it was just the kind of thing like, you know, just more songs that sounded right. And we contacted Chris at the label, and we were just like, yo, like, how do you feel about doing an album instead? And he loved it. He was like, yeah, absolutely. You know, Profound Lore has been absolutely amazing with this. So it just, I don't know, it just worked, man. And then, you know, putting the show together to do the Bell House, we're playing with this cat Dream Crusher, who's out of Brooklyn, who's incredible. We played a show with him earlier this year. It was the first time we had met him, and I was just completely blown away by his stage presence and the music, and it's just heavy electronic. I mean, it just definitely it fits and works with Dialect. So it'll be the two of us. There'll probably be a third band who we haven't squared away yet, but we should know in the next couple of days.
Hooking up with Profound Lore, that's a bit of an interesting label to. I read that this is their first hip hop release because they've got a bit of a history of doing dark metal and various things. But in saying that though, man, like, you know, it's all good, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we have a long history of working with labels that have never worked with hip hop groups before, anyway. So. You know, our first record was on Graham Glanston, was more of an indie rock label. You know, pretty much every record after that, we did like a split 12-inch on Matador with Techno Animal. Yeah. Which I guess that was definitely part of a hip hop series that they were doing. But then we were on Ipecac, you know, who wasn't known for hip hop at all. And now we're on, you know, now doing this record on Profound Lore. So I feel like it works fine for us. You know what I mean? Like, the thing is, like, no matter what label we're on, we're never really going to quite fit on any label, really. So to me, it's more important the people that are running the label and how they treat their artists and, you know, and just the quality of the music that they put out regardless of genre. And I feel like every label that we work with have met that criteria. You know what I mean? Like, they've been good people that put out really good music. So, you know, I'm happy to be a part of a Profound Lore, just like I'm happy that, you know, everything that we've done on every other label. So
I know what you mean though. Like the music you guys create is certainly very unique, but it's still like I think like at its core, man, it's still hip hop. You know what I mean? It's still got this like overriding kind of dense, noisy edge to it, but at its core, it's still got that driving beat. It's still got those rhymes. It's still got that feeling that you kind of get. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, you know, and I think the funny thing is the more we do this, the more I guess it makes sense to more people. I think when we started this, it was definitely. I'm not going to sit here and be like we were ahead of our time, but I will say that when we were doing this, there were only a handful of bands that were doing the kind of thing we were doing. You know, like I'd say Techno Animal, New Kingdom. Maybe like LP, you know what I mean? Like those kind of cats were probably the closest we had to contemporaries, you know.
How do you feel about like the experimental hip hop that's getting produced these days, like bands like Death Grips being totally
a lot more accepted now, and it makes a lot more sense. That's what I was like trying to say, like because of like how the music scape has changed. Like when we were doing shit, like, you know, the fact that we were melding all these different genres, people thought we were like these weirdos, but like now, like everything is melded. You know what I mean? Like if you listen, like there's like mainstream stuff that has like, you know, different genres mixed in together. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I feel like, you know, like you have the Kanye record that came out that had like noisy aspects to it. You know what I mean? You have, like you were saying, you have like Death Grips, you have, there's bands like Clipping. There's bands like Moody Black. You know, there's dudes like Blackie down in Texas. I mean, there's a lot there's a lot more, like, I guess, like noisy hip hop now than there was when we started.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is a good thing. I mean, like, I think it's the kind of thing, like, it's more palatable to a wider audience now than it was when we started. I feel like when we started, people would look at it as like, you know, the fuck is wrong with you? You know what I mean?
Do you know I still haven't listened to the new Kanye record? I just have not found my way to it yet.
Really? Yeah, I mean, like, I understand that. Like, I mean, Kanye is a very polarizing person. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm a huge Kanye fan. I respect his production. I think there's certain songs that are good.
Do you know the thing that kind of I find interesting about Kanye is that he's clearly talented. Clearly.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean. He knows his stuff. I just kind of wish he'd be a little bit quieter with the way he does it. But that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I completely understand where you're coming from. I feel like, I don't know, man. I've always been of the opinion that it's funny because people always think that because I'm like this, you know, extreme underground, whatever, like noisy hip hop act, that like that's all I'm into. But that's not real. I like good music, man. Like, I don't care what the genre is. I don't care if it's mainstream. I don't care if it's pop. If it's a good song, it's a good song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't. And sometimes, you know, I'll be honest. You know, like if shit is like, you know, like the crazy popular, I'll let it breathe for a little while before I really get into it, because I don't really like all the hype around it. I agree with that. You know what I mean? I feel like when shit has too much hype, I'm kind of like, I'll listen to it later. You know what I mean? But a lot of times you listen to that stuff, and there's stuff in there. There's a reason why, like, you know, it's pop music, man. Like, there's stuff in there that is good.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course.
Like, it's undeniable. You know.
Yep. I was driving in my car the other day, and I had my 5-year-old in the backseat, and I was listening to Spice Girls the whole way.
Don't admit that to a bunch of people. Man.
No. I've just admitted that on my podcast, but that's okay. One thing I did kind of notice that you kind of do, like you've obviously done a lot of hip hop. You've kind of immersed yourself with different artists and done a lot of collaborations. But you've even done film scores. I noticed that in 2010 or 11 you did a film score called Lilith with Octopus. What was that experience like?
That was amazing, man. That's definitely something that, you know, both myself and Octopus, you know, really enjoyed, and, you know, a world that we definitely want to get into. That I still want to get into. You know what I mean? It's a tough world to break into. It's, you know, you kind of have to find the directors that are into you to begin with.
Yeah.
To kind of you know, hire you to do that stuff. But Sridhar Reddy was the director of that film, and yeah, man, he kind of approached it the way like I approach, you know, video directors, like kind of giving them free range. He was like, yo, I have this film. I want you guys to score it. I love what you guys do. Here's like my general ideas, but you guys do what you do. Like he kind of knew our sound and wanted our sound. You know what I mean? Which I think is the right way to approach us. Because we could pretty much write whatever, but it's kind of like, you know, to have us write just like a typical score is kind of pointless. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to hire us, like, hire us for the type of sound we have. Because I feel like the Dälek sound is, I just feel like the Dälek sound is like very, you know, it's very cinematic. So
very much so.
I think it works. It works for film, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, we had a great time working on that film. I actually did, I did a song for him for another short film that hasn't actually come out yet, called 6 Angry Women. I did a song for him called Police State is Nervous, which is actually like the first Dälek song that came out, you know, for this like new version of Dälek, I guess. And I also scored the whole film for him as well. It's a short piece, but yeah, I'm really looking forward for that to come out. But yeah, I mean, like, scoring film is a lot of fun, man.
How do you feel about the new version of Dälek? I mean, obviously this is your first record without your longtime collaborator Octopus, who I believe is living in Berlin at the moment. Is that correct?
No. He's here in Harlem.
He's back, is he?
Him on Friday.
Oh no! Oh, nice
yeah,
one. Nice
he's
one,
been
man.
back for a while. Yeah, I mean, it's good, man. You know, when I got the itch to do this again, obviously, you know, I had a conversation with Octopus first, just because, you know, like we started this. You know what I mean? It's me and him. You know what I mean? And that's my brother. You know what I mean? Like there's that doesn't change. Like, that's my family. That's my brother. We still chill. And I mean, he's probably the musician I respect the most on this planet. You know what I mean? When we had the conversation, his heart really wasn't in it. You know what I mean? He was just like, look, man, he was like, you know, like, I really want to do other things. he was like, I could tell that you really want to do this. He was like, you know, if you want to do it, you have my blessing, man. He's like, just, you know, keep doing it. He's like, don't, like, why? Like, why not? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was really important to me because I didn't want it to be like one of those situations where it's like you have like any bitterness or like any anger or any of that. And that's the funny thing. It's like, you know, I guess everyone always expects there to be like some crazy story as to like why the band stopped being the band, but there really isn't. It was just the kind of thing, like we did it for so long. We definitely needed a break. I mean, when we went on hiatus, I needed a break too. You know what I mean? It wasn't just him. Like we both like just didn't really want to do it anymore. And, you know, after taking a little break, I started Iconoclast. Then I started touring with Iconoclast. And then like by the second tour I was doing with Iconoclast in Europe, which is, that's my project that's more like straight up like boom bap hip hop.
Yeah.
I started incorporating a couple dialect songs that would work within that world. And just, you know, I forgot like how much fun like I had playing those songs.
Yeah.
And you know, so when I came back, I was like, yo man, I definitely, you know, I kind of want to play these songs again. So it started with me just wanted to play a couple dialect shows and seeing how that went.
Yeah.
And it all just kind of like snowballed from there. It was like, did a couple shows, that turned into a couple tours. And then me and Mike Manteca started working on new tracks. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, we have like 2 new tracks. Oh, we have 4 new tracks.
And then you got DJ Rec back in the band too, yeah?
Yeah, and Rec, you know, that's another funny thing. It's like, you know, people are like, it is a new version of dialect, but it's not new really because Mike Manteca has been playing guitar in dialect probably since the Absence days.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And then you have, you know, Rec that was our DJ from the Negro days from when we started. So it's just, you know, like 2 other members that, you know, it made sense if I was going to do it again to do it with them. You know what I mean?
Hey,
so it kind of worked out right.
How do you look back on that first release you did back in '98, the Necro record? I actually listened to it the other day, and it still felt like dialect, man, but it was a bit more sample based. It was a bit more kind of groove kind of thing. The dense kind of aspect wasn't quite in the record at that point. How do you feel like your evolution your evolution as a musician has kind of evolved since then?
Oh, no, yes. I mean, that first record is like me and Octopus, like, finding who we wanted to be. You know what I mean? Like, I think the record is wonderful. I love the record for what it is. Like, it's a snapshot of who we were in, like, 96, 97, you know? Like, we put the record in 98, but we worked on that maybe, like, 2 years prior.
Yeah, nice.
So that's, you know, lyrically, like musically, that's who we were at, you know, what was I, maybe like 25, 24?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like whatever I was at that, you know, whatever age I was at that point. But we were kids, man. You know what I mean? So it's just, I like it because it you know, it is, that's our beginning, man. That's the genesis. But you're right. I mean, it's like the idea is there. It's just not fully formed, you know?
It's still good though.
Like, man. I don't feel like, yeah. I mean, like, I don't think the songs are bad at all. I just feel like, you know, it's that thing. It's like, you know, like I've learned as a producer, like, you know, you just have to let go of songs. Like songs are never finished. You just kind of have to just, you know, like let go of them and just put them out, let them exist, and you know, like just move on. It's
actually something that I've kind of been thinking about just from my own kind of music production. Is when is a song finished? At what point do you say enough? You know what I mean, and kind of move on to kind of like the next thing.
I'm still in that world, man. Like this last record, you know, it got to a point where, you know, at every step, I had to let go. You know what I mean? Like, as you know, when we were writing, it was like, all right, this is the album. Let's not add any more songs. Let's not, you know, these are the songs. Then, you know, when I mixed it, you know, when me and Manteca mixed it was like, okay, this is the mix. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you can sit there forever and like, you know, nitpick over, is that snare in the right place? You know, is the reverb right? All that. After a while, it's like, yo, no one's ever going to be able to tell that other than yourself. Like, you're the only one that's going to be like, oh, that little thing right there isn't the way exactly I really wanted it to be. But I feel like, you know, you just have to let it go at some point.
How do you approach production? What like do you like? Is it all sample based, the music and dialect, or is there live instrumentation included? Like, are you a guitarist, a bass player?
No,
and whatnot?
there's live instrumentation in the sense that we record a lot of live instruments and use it basically as source material.
Yeah.
So we'll just record like hours of, say, guitars or bass, and just kind of go back and chop it up and use it the way I would go through vinyl back in the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, so we're basically like finding like the pieces that we like from our own archives, basically.
Yeah.
And there's like there's still some sampling from vinyl, but you got to be careful with that. So we just try to obscure it. And I mean, our music is so dirty and so like dense that we just like layer a lot of things. So there's a little hidden treats in there every now and then, but we try to keep that shit quiet.
Barely uplifting. I outlive most my critics, except the selfish lives we live in. But yet a smoke, it gives hope to those who lived it. I show the bird is still yearning for that thought. I ain't the cynic. Best is worse, get printed and disposable. Age will it. Darker days ahead, we're laboring. Conviction never wavering. Make each other's word. Get only help I get to speak these gutter proverbs. We can't be real when this whole world turned plastic. I really thought you didn't need this brown bastard. Every cut of blood diamonds make facets. Refract the light upon the face of bad actors. I'm trying to help, but y'all got this ass backwards. Hard to smile with all these tears that mask laughter. Though my breath deserve respect. With all this poison in your chest. Like you saying it's a test. What's the way when nothing's left? Though my breath deserve respect. With all this poison in your chest. Like you saying it's a test. What's the way when nothing's left?
Revolution, all these aimed, as I say, not directly at the human being, but at his surroundings, so that by modifying the surroundings you did achieve an effect upon the human being. We are faced, I think, with what may be called the ultimate revolution, the final revolution, where
frustration bears the veil, anger, done with petty banter, benign lies confused for truth, tactics ready standard, wish the better odds, scratch of cards and wearing handcuffs, bankers left us bankrupt, my future held for ransom, I don't need a fucking anthem, I need change, not that shit that jingles, but them laws bribe the page, y'all ever wonder why the fuck I'm enraged? I ain't trying to bring us under this stage. I'm trying to breathe. I'm trying to breathe. I'm trying to breathe. I'm trying to breathe.
terrorism, 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 terrorism.
Speaking of vinyl, man, do you still consider yourself a bit of a crate digger?
Man, I've tried to kind of wean myself a little bit, unfortunately, just because I'm running out of space, and
Yeah.
every time I move, it's a nightmare, man. You know what I mean? 'Cause it's like every crate of vinyl is like another, like, what, 100 pounds? You know what I mean? So it's that thing, man. I'm sorry, it's that thing, man. You know, you go into a record store, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna empty my wallet every time I walk in here. So
yeah,
it's bad, man. Because there was a point where I was digging like every week, and now, you know, I just try to like lay off. You know, sometimes you can't help it.
What's your opinion of like Apple Music and Spotify and the whole and the streaming and all that kind of stuff? Of course, the music industry has shifted so much. Like it almost doesn't. I can't really recognize it from what I was used to it when I was a kid, man. I used to go to record stores and kind of burn through cash, and now these days it's just different, man. The way you kind of get music, you know.
Yeah, you know, as an artist, I think that there's a lot that needs to change about the way streaming works. Obviously, the way artists get paid. I feel like, you know, it's not right that, you know, artists are getting like, you know, fractions of a cent for their music. You know what I mean? Like when you see those royalty checks from, like, you know, from Spotify and Apple Music, it's like, ugh. Like, really? Like, that's what I got?
The
you know what I mean?
The thing I don't quite understand is why everyone agreed to it. It just feels crazy, man. Like I'm you know, I know this sounds awful, but I've got Apple Music, and it costs me $12.50 a month to have access to the world's library of music. It's crazy. It's crazy.
What I was about to tell you is that on the flip side, as a consumer, I completely understand it. Like, I have Apple Music, and I get it. Like you're saying, like, you pay $13 a month, and you could find pretty much anything.
Anything, and you can download it offline to listen to it at your kind of disposal. It's just crazy, man. I kind of hope there's going to be a shift at some point not too far away where a couple of kind of big acts just kind of say, enough. This is just ridiculous. Like artists just aren't getting paid. It's crazy. I mean, art isn't free. It shouldn't be free.
I could definitely see the paying model changing, because I think it has to.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, I feel like, you know, like, as far as the technology of it, I think that that streaming really is, like, that's just where it's at, man. I think that's where it's headed. You know, it's that thing. It's like, you know, I remember, like, you know, when downloading was first happening, and people were like, oh no, you know, that's fucked up. But it's kind of like, you can't really stop progress, man. Like, it just keeps going. You know.
I'll be honest though, man. I do kind of miss the thrill of the chase, if you know what I'm saying. Like the discovering about music, man, reading about them in magazines, man, and then finding them and actually sorting them out. These days there's no chase.
I also miss the way music used to be regional.
Yeah.
You know? Like, scenes used to be regional. Like New York hip hop was New York hip hop. And if you wanted to really, like, peep that, you'd have to come here to hear that. You know what I mean? And like, you know, when we went to Chicago would have their own thing. And you went to Detroit would have their own thing. But now it's like everything is so, like, it's just, like, so homogenic, man. It's like everything, you know what I mean? It's just like everything's on the internet. So the culture is a world culture now. It's not really, like, you could be a kid that lives in, like, Anchorage, Alaska, and you're up on the newest thing that like Ghostface drop, or that MF Doom drop. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to really be from any specific place to be up on everything.
Yeah.
Which is good. It's good in a lot of senses. I think, you know, it's great because your music reaches so many more people. But at the same time, there used to be something about it that was, like, so, like, local, and so, like, it was yours. It was your scene, you know, and, like, and you showed other people, like, you know, about this style of music, and you learned about a different style of music when you went to different places. And I mean, to some degree, there's still, you know, there's still different things going on in different places, but, like, everything is really global now. You know, like, you have, like, hip hop all over the world. You have, like, you know, all types of, like, every type of genre, every type of music is happening all over the world, not just in one place anymore.
Speaking of regional, have you ever been to Australia to tour?
Nah, man. Actually, since this is a podcast, I'm gonna put the word out, man. We need a booking agent in Australia, so
Nice.
let it be known. We want to go down there, man. We wanted to go down there for a long time, and it just never really panned out. I mean, we were trying to make something happen with this band Zoo for a while. We tried to make something happen with ISIS, the band. Everyone calm down. For a while. But it never panned out, man. But yeah, put the word out, man. I just did I just did vocals on this album, A Universal Language for
I noticed that you did that, actually.
And Deep Star.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's actually the producer is from Australia, so
Nice.
Deep Star's from Australia. So again, like I'm hoping that kind of just kind of spreads my name down there a little bit and gets us down there, man. Because that's been we've done Japan, we've done Europe, obviously done the U.S. and Canada, but yeah, we've never been to Australia.
I'm surprised, man, because like it's not like you've had a short career. It's like 4 or 5 albums in, plus all your side projects with Iconoclast and Phil Jackson Heights and various kind of other things, man. So it's time you came down to kind of turn it up loud and do the business.
Yeah, man, spread the word, let them know. Anyone that put the APB out, man. Anyone that knows any booking agents down there.
Nice. Now,
call us up, man.
Now, before we kind of wrap it up, man, I kind of just want to kind of go back. You have been playing music for as long as you can remember, yeah? Like, I read that you were a DJ when you were 14, 15 years old. Is that right?
Yeah, man. Started as a DJ at 14.
Yeah.
Before that, I mean, my cousins were DJs when I was growing up, so I was basically like a little kid watching the old heads fucking DJ.
So you were 14, 15 in New York, is that right? And kind of listening to like
New Jersey.
Into New Jersey, and kind of listening to like Public Enemy and De La Soul and all those kind of artists just tear it up.
Yeah, but I mean, even before that, when I was a little kid, man, I'm saying like I was like, 8, 9, 10 years old. Like my cousins were spinning like Treacherous 3.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Like Grandmaster Flash, like, spinning like old school disco breaks, like those, being at house parties listening to that shit, man. So Bambaataa, like all that.
Speaking of Grandmaster Flash, man, I was watching. I know this sounds really random, man, but I was watching Police Academy 6, the old film, and there's a bit in it where Hightower and Hooks do this like rap with these two kind of street artists, and it's Melly Mel doing the rap.
Oh, wow. I know. I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
I know. It's totally crazy, man. Google it, man. Google Melly Mel and Police Academy 6 and you'll see it, man. It spun me out.
Yeah, I gotta check that.
Anyway.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It's all good. Anyway, dude, it's been amazing talking to you, man. Seriously, it's been really, really great. And I cannot wait to listen to Asphalt For Eden, man, which drops April 22. It's going to be really cool.
Yeah, man, I definitely appreciate it. Like I said, man, I appreciate the love coming from Australia and, trying to work our way down there. So, man, put my email out there. You can email me anytime. You know what I mean? Any booking agents out there, festivals, whatever. We'll get down there somehow.
Yeah, do it, man, because Australia needs to kind of be exposed to this. And obviously, just your music in general just needs to spread further and further. Hey, before I go, man, like, how do you find like the different crowds between like the countries and what? Like you said, you toured Japan and you've been all over the world, man. Like, obviously the crowds must kind of be quite different everywhere. You must get a different reaction.
Yeah. You know what? It's also been a different reaction at different periods of my career, man. Like I feel like when we started, again, we would tend to clear out rooms. You know what I mean? Like, if there was, we were playing, when we started, we start playing basement shows. If there was like 15 people there when we were done, there'd be 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's weird, man, and then, keep playing more shows. And then, we got to Europe, it was different. It was like, if there was like 500 people, we were like, why are 500 people here to begin with? And then they would stay. We were like, oh, that's interesting. And it just kind of built like that, man. Like, I feel like, and it's such a weird, just cross section of everything, man. Like from metalheads to people that are into experimental music, to people that are into hip hop. It's just, it's cool to see.
Did you end up
many different people at our show?
Did you end up touring your 2004 release that you did with Faust, the Derbe Respect older? Did you? Because I was actually it's something I forgot to mention, man. Because that would have been a pretty interesting collaboration, and I listened to that record the other day, man, and the sounds in that were great. It was pretty great. It was really cool.
Yeah, we unfortunately we only did a few shows with them. We did a couple festivals and we did a few shows in Europe. Not really extensive touring, but we definitely played a handful of shows. I mean, maybe maybe about 10, 15 shows together. But yeah, that record. I'm a huge fan of Faust, and that was a dream come true, man. That was just. I still can't believe that we recorded at Yoakum's house, and that I could actually call Yoakum and just talk to him when I need to, which is nuts. That's like my musical father right there. So it's very, very cool to have done that.
In the very early days of the podcast, we were able to get an interview actually with Michael Rother from Noi, and it just totally blew me away when I was talking to him. It's just like this is the guy that did all those kind of great tracks with Klaus Stinger back in the early 70s and was like really experimental in the studio, just totally amazing music.
Yeah, man. I mean, as a fan of music, stuff like that is so humbling, man. I've gotten to play shows with Charles Hayward from This Heat, and he's so humble. He's such a nice dude, and it's like in my head, I'm like, yo, dude, you're from This Heat, man. And he's just he's just so nice, and he's like, oh, I love Dälek. I'm like, nah, man. I'm like, This Heat is one of the illest bands that that a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah.
But it's just I've been lucky, man, to meet a lot of really amazing musicians, man, and been able to just make a lot of noise with them, which is cool, man.
I think I read, man, that they did a whole bunch of reissues of those This Heat records recently. There was about 3 or 4 of them that came out the other day.
They've been playing a few shows out, and we've been talking with them about trying to set something up later in the year. It's still we're trying to figure out the schedule, but. If we can open up for This Heat, I think that would be a sick lineup right there.
It sounds like
we're trying to make that happen.
It sounds like you're influenced by a lot of artists. I mean, obviously one of the things that is so I hear a lot of kind of industrial sounds within your music too. Like there's a heaviness kind of there. There's a drive. Is that a fair thing to say?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I think again, like I said, Faust, This Heat, Silver Apples. I mean, Neubauten to a degree. I mean, there's I think even the noisier, heavier Velvet Underground tracks. There's a lot of elements of that in our music, man. It's definitely influenced us. That's music, man. You always have to look at the people that came before you, and kind of draw from that, and make your own path. From your own branch off of what they did,
Yeah. Those early Velvet Underground records were totally out there. They were just like a band ahead of their time, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, cool. All right, mate. I will let you go. Thank you so much for making the time, man, and actually being really proactive with getting the interview happening. I really do appreciate it.
No problem at all, man. Anytime. I appreciate it, brother.
Welcome back to Special Features. I'm Nate Fontaine.
I'm Toe Capone, and I hope all you peeps have enjoyed that absolutely fascinating interview with the original innovator Dälek.
I know. So don't forget, April 22, Asphalt For Eden drops. Make sure you buy it. Make sure you get it on whatever platform is your choice. And also make sure you get to the Bell House in Brooklyn for their big debut gig on April 22 as well.
And also make sure you get on Dälek's Facebook, Twitter. Make sure you get on there and have a conversation with him. Give him likes, supports, big ups, all that kind of stuff as much as you can.
And as he said, if there's any interest out there in getting Dälek to Australia, feel free to contact us at our specialfeaturespodcast@gmail.com, and we can put you in touch with Dälek.
We certainly love that because this man's an original, and I think the Australian audiences definitely need to hear this guy in the flesh.
Oh, he's fantastic. It really is great music that has some genuine kind of longevity in it too. It's really cool. So I was really excited about doing the interview. It was a shame you couldn't be there for the day, but sometimes schedules are hard to kind of get together.
Hey man, it's okay. Look, the main thing is we get this out there. We get this out there to the real music appreciators, music fans out there, which I think is our Special Features audience, and obviously fans of Dälek. If they're out there listening, here's another chance to get more of an insight.
Yes, exactly.
The man, the myth.
So don't forget, April 22, Asphalt for Eden. Get it. This is Nate Fontaine signing out.
It's a Toe Capone.
And we'll see you next week.
See you on the flip side.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Special. Feature. Special. Feature. Special. Feature. Special. Feature. Coming up. Special. Feature. Coming up. Special. Feature. Coming up soon. Special. Feature. Hot on the radio dial. Special. Feature. We're coming up. Special. Feature.